Beijing has been synonymous with bicycles. The city conjured up images of bikes pedaled by thousands and thousands, being the city's main transportation device. But in recent years, car traffic and smog has changed that traditional image, and bikes have been relegated to the margins, used less and less. People in Beijing now prefer cars to the humble bicycle. But one woman is determined to change that. Enter Ines Bruin. Ines Bruin started the fixed-gear bike revolution in China and founded Beijing's first ever fixed-gear bike shop. She's credited with the city's infatuation with this style of bike and partly responsible for the recent revival in bike riding.
I opened Natuki in 2009, March 2009, so we're going to have a 5-year anniversary soon. At that time it was the first shop in all of China. There was no shop here.
But just what exactly is a fixed-gear bike? A fixed-gear bike is a bike with its chain fixed to the cog of the rear wheel, meaning the pedals are always turning if the wheels are also turning.
The difference between a fixed-gear bike and a regular bike is that you cannot coast. In riding, that gives a very nice feeling because you have strong control over the bike.
Fixed-gear bikes have grown in popularity in European and North American cities throughout the past decade, but it was only after Ines opened her shop in Beijing that fixed-gear bikes landed on the radar of the Chinese public. In the 5 years since Ines opened her store, others have also popped up throughout the city, but the fixed bike scene is still centered on her small shop in this traditional Hutong neighborhood.
我是来自苏州的一个死飞爱好者，就是因为知道一拳，然后才慢慢在网上让自己找死飞这东西。如果看到一拳做那种花式动作啊，真的很厉害。然后知道一拳的店，特意过来看一下。
At Ines's shop, you could choose your own style of bike, with customers selecting each individual component.
We're not a bike shop where we have built-up bikes and the customer just comes inside and says, okay, I like the red one, I'll take this. Our concept has always been to do customized bikes, like from the nipple of the wheel, the spoke nipple, to every part. You can choose your own color, your own style, whatever you want.
Like kind of like a multicolored rainbow bike.
A rainbow bike, okay. Well, I'll help you do that. You can choose the tire colors.
Oh.
Which one? What tire will go on blue? What tire will go? Which green? A darker green or a lighter green?
No, darker. Yeah,
Darker.
Yeah. What do you think of my creation?
Too colorful.
After an injury forced her to stop pursuing gymnastics, where she was a national-level athlete, Ines took up doing acrobatics on her beloved bike. So how did this bike-loving German end up in Beijing? What motivated her to open up a bike shop selling this unique style of bicycle at a time when bikes were declining in popularity?
I was working in the telecom industry for 8 years and I was taking care of Asia Pacific. I had a very high salary. They had sent me to Beijing. I was living here on an expat contract. I was just seeing the development of Beijing, of China, going away from bikes and moving to cars. I was seeing the traffic jams, the increasing air pollution. So I started fixed gear bikes because I wanted something cool to attract some people to come. And I wanted to really change the perception of the bike. But that didn't really go anywhere far because I was a single person doing it in my free time next to my high-paying job. So at some point, a friend suggested, well, Ines, if you really want to make an impact, you'd have to do this as like your full thing. There's nowhere to get fixed gear bikes in China, so you'd need to open a shop.
It was hard for Ines in the beginning. There were many obstacles to overcome, but her friends helped her to establish the shop, and she laid on many promotional activities to spread the word once the shop was up and running.
So after I opened the shop, of course, the strong focus was building the community, building the group, having events, having rides, having gatherings so that people feel connected and that community builds. So we focused from the beginning on doing night rides, because fixed gear biking is about cycling in the city. So you want to explore your city, and a lot of people works and just ride around the streets. There's less people, less traffic, and it's a really nice way to explore the city. And of course, in the beginning, it was a lot of, we'd ride, people would see the bikes, we would stop somewhere, and they'd say, hey, those bikes look really different, what are they? So that was a kind of like promotion.
Ines also runs a bike polo club. Just another way for her to engage people, bring them together through a common pursuit, and of course to get people riding.
I was hoping to do some kind of big event and have all kinds of people do like small competitions and fun things just to get everybody together. In 2009, after I opened the shop, there was finally more people that had bikes then. So two friends of mine, they were living in China just studying, and they were about to leave. So the three of us said, hey, how about we really organize a fixed gear event? And us being foreigners, we thought, let's do a revolution. Let's call this the fixed gear revolution.
The first annual Fixed Gear Revolution was launched in 2009. That year, it attracted a small group of about 75 friends and local riders, but its reputation quickly spread to the budding fixed gear communities in other Chinese cities. By 2013, applicant demand grew so high that Ines had to place quota limits on local and foreign riders to ensure a balance of participants.
We kept a certain amount for Beijing people and a certain amount for non-Beijingers, because they might take longer to hear about it and the registration process. But the Beijing part was signed up within 3 hours.
Promoting bikes and bike riding is a challenge in China, as the perception of bicycles is one associated with relative poverty, being a cheap form of transportation.
Because before, the bicycle stood for a means of transportation, and of course it also represented that you didn't have enough money for a car. So I was seeing this decline, and with that, of course, the city changed a lot. Less cyclists means, well, why do we need such wide bike lanes anymore? We can just shave a part off of the bike lane and give it for cars. We can then take another piece off the bike lane and give it as parking lots. So I've seen that change, and I thought it was going the wrong direction. So to get that change of perception of the bicycle, you need something cool or really outstanding for them to change. So I thought fixed gear bikes would be a cool idea.
Fixed gear bikes took a hold of the Beijing public's imagination. The simple but eye-catching designs of these bikes can be seen whizzing around the streets, promoting the humble bicycle into an object of desire and status. So what are people's thoughts about fixed gear bikes and their developing status in Beijing?
它通勤比较方便，就是它比一般的自行车要轻，然后呢，车整个质量也轻，然后呢，样子这也是自己喜欢的。
因为它特别的干净，特别的简洁，然后吸引我的注意。我觉得这辆车非常好看，而且很纯粹、很简单，回到单车最原本的样子。
现在北京那个空气还有车流都比较多，然后呢，就是也是响应这个一拳的号召吧，做一个正能量的使者。
感觉有越来越多人加入死飞的行列。
Ines's friend, who's also an owner of a bike shop, also has good things to say about Ines's work.
I think it's been tremendous. I mean, if you just go out on any street in Beijing and sit on the corner for 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to see a fixed gear bike go past. And fixed gear bike is from this shop. So Ines has done a great job in getting fixed gear culture out into Beijing, and that's spread all around China.
Governments both national and local around the world are now trying to get people riding bikes, and Beijing is no exception.
Beijing government at the top level is very keen on promoting cycling, and that's why they put a lot of money into a big cycling race that happens here every year. And then you can start to see out on the streets that they're putting up more bike lanes, more barricades in the bike lanes, and I think soon we're going to see even more promotion of the bicycle and less promotion of the car. So lots of good things happening.
For Ines, it's been a 10-year journey. She had a simple desire to promote bikes in Beijing. From that came an idea to open a bike shop, more as a lifestyle than as a mere business pursuit. She once worked single-handedly.
So what we've done so far, we've accomplished a lot of what I was hoping or was dreaming of. But of course, there's still things to do. There's people on the road bikes, on mountain bikes. There's people buying foldable bikes to get around the city. So there's a start, but there's still a way to go to promote bikes in China.
Her passion for bikes has translated into a passion for Beijing and an intertwining of the two.
Another thing that I really like about Beijing is that a lot is about the personal interaction, not as much as just what you wear or what you do. Like in Beijing, you see a lot of people just walking around in their like undershirts and like pulling it up in summer and slapping their stomach, and it's just more about kind of taking your time with people. I quickly learned to love it. Like the nice thing here is there's a rich cultural places like the Lama Temple, the Forbidden City, the other temples and things around Beijing, which just makes it really interesting. So I quickly fell in love with Beijing.
And is there a long-term future for her in Beijing with a family and a special someone?
那想不想在北京找一个男朋友呀？
对呀，想找找。
想把家安在北京吗？
如果我找到合适的，肯定的。
Whatever happens, Ines has created something in her adopted home. She's built a community, started a culture, and done something beneficial for this city. It's not just somewhere where she works. Her whole way of life is now bound up with Beijing and its old culture of bike riding. And perhaps it'll once again be a city with 9 million bicycles, or at least that's Ines's dream. It's been a long 10-year journey, but a fun one, and a journey mostly involving two wheels.